walkthrough of my Extreme 795 Game King. These boats are built in Whakatane, New Zealand. I've been to the factory and it is absolutely next level. This is the Rolls-Royce of aluminium boats. And the thing I'm excited about, I've put over 100 hours on this rig and I didn't want to talk to you about it until I'd used it in a whole heap of different fishing situations. And the really exciting thing about this, being my second Game King, I've been able to modify it and make it even better. I've tweaked little things. I'm going to show you those things. Hopefully you love it just as much as I do. One of the best things about this boat is just how easy it is to launch for such a big rig. Watch this. Keep it simple, stupid, they say. I'll be the stupid. You'll see how simple it is. From here it's simple. I've parked close enough to the jetty. I can step in and out as I need. Fire the Suzukis up. Just push the boat forward on the trailer, a little bit of propulsion. That'll take the pressure off the boat catch. All I do then, pull this string, the catch opens. When I take the power off, I just roll back off the trailer and away we go. Some people said I might have been going overboard when I thought I'll put 500 horsepower of Suzuki on the back of this Game King. But I reckon you can never have enough power. You don't have to use it all. My other boat had 400 horsepower, twin 200s, and it was sensational. But this boat is mainly designed for ocean going. And in the ocean, you just need that extra power, that extra torque. If you're going to cross a barway or you want to get out of a curly spot, you can never have too much power. These engines are unbelievable. The first thing is they're so quiet. So many times I've accidentally turned the key when they're already running. That's a trick for young players, but they are just so quiet. The other thing too, you will never, ever smell any emissions, which is great because I do get a bit seasick at times. That never helps. The most incredible thing, I'm getting about 80 kilometers top speed. I think it's around 37.7 knots, so probably a bit over 80 Ks. For a boat this size, I'm pretty impressed with that. But running, if I run them at the right revs, that's all about feel. Like I can't give you an exact number, but you can hear when these engines are just purring beautifully. And I reckon it's about 24 to 27 knots. I'm running at 1 kilometre per litre. So I'm fishing out of St Helens. I'm going to the shelf at 7 in the morning. I never turn the engines off. I'm using them all day, fishing for swords, backing up, chasing a sword, then coming in again from the shelf. I'm averaging 75 litres of fuel a day. 500 horsepower boat this size, absolutely amazing. If I go a bit harder, then I'm around 0.8 of a kilometre per litre, which I'm absolutely stoked with. These things have been an absolute dream, and I'm glad I went with twins, and I'm glad I went with 500 horsepower. I've put a lot of effort into the design of the transom of this boat. I got my last one right, and I was really happy with it, but I always feel there's room for improvement. And for me, this is my workbench. My dad was a builder, he had a workbench, and unless it was absolutely perfect, he couldn't do the job properly. So what I've done, the last boat had 2 walkthroughs. Here's the walkthrough here. You can pull this out like that, nice and easy to step in and out. I've gone for 1 walkthrough on this boat. The other thing which is really cool, if you turn this door around, I found this by mistake, and you put it in this way, when you're backing into a sea, sword fishing or doing anything else, the water hits this, and that actually catches it and stops it coming in the boat. That's a really cool thing I discovered by mistake. So I'll put that back in there. What I've done with the 1 walkway, I've got the walkthrough and the ladder, which is very handy for getting in and out of the boat. It's allowed more space under here. So at an extra hatch, it's empty. So it's a great place to put things you need all the time, like big sinkers, tackle boxes, bags, etc. Then I've got another hatch under here, again, empty. So good to have storage at the back. But this was the game changer for me. My last Extreme Game King had 1 live bait tank, and I wanted 2. So under here is a beautiful live bait tank. It's so good. Then this side, I've got another live bait tank just under there. The beauty of this, I've got live slimies in this tank, live squid in this tank. I put King George whiting in there, calamari in here, because quite often those squid will eat your live baits, they'll eat your whiting, you get in a lot of trouble. You can never have too many live tanks. You'll notice there's no tuna tubes. I just don't do a lot of chucking baits at marlin, etc., so I didn't need them. I've got the extra room, which is really important to me, and I can open this up, put a slime in there on a leader, have the rod ready, and I can still pitch it and have my other slimies in this tank. With boats, you can't have everything you want. My mum used to say you can't have your cake and eat it as well. This for me was the perfect setup, and so far I've been super stoked with it. Another little thing, my last boat had 4 rod holders at the back here. I've gone 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I did, I made sure the space between these was big enough that I could run the reels without them hitting each other, which is a really big deal. Little things you might not think about, but it makes a massive difference. So that's my transom. It works an absolute treat and I'm super stoked with it, and I'm glad I went for the dual bait tanks, and I love this cutting board too. Opens in the middle, closes back down, really big because you always need more room than you think. I just did a little bit of housekeeping. This bait board also has a pretty cool workstation here. I've got knife holders, and when I'm at sea I don't have rods in these rod holders because they're in the rod holders over here. So these are really handy for throwing pliers in, knives in, scabbards. That's my flatty flicker, fish to hook or whatever. And then I do also have places to put pliers in there when I need to. So really handy. You can never have enough places to put things on a boat, and this works just awesome. Obviously there, drink, but they end up holding sinkers most of the time. Port and starboard side, I've got this cool little button here. When you want to wash your hands, lean against it with your thigh. Water comes out. So good, you don't have to lean over, because one of the biggest problems with leaning over is that if you lean over, there's a chance you actually lose your footing and go in the drink. This way, wash your hands, don't lean over. It is such a cool feature. And of course, every boat needs a really good deck wash. I use this thing non-stop, just keep cleaning this sea deck, even give it a spray, keep it nice and cool. If you do most of the work at sea, when you get home, it's so easy to clean the boat. Never have enough rod holders on a boat. You never have too many rods on a boat. But the great thing about these rod holders, it's like having about 10 in one. So these are the Evolution 360. I've got 3 on the port side, 3 on the starboard side. And traditionally, that's how your rod would sit, pretty much facing out the back, or maybe that one might just be on that angle there, but you're stuck with it. The great thing about these rod holders, push the button down, I can pivot that to there, and then that line is pushing out that way. Or if I'm drifting sideways, look at that, and it just locks in. It has been such an incredible part of this boat. It's made it so much more functional. And I just love the fact, oh, a bit of tide that way. Oh, look, we'll run out there now. Such a great way to get the best spread on your lures or your baits, no matter what you're fishing for. I reckon I spent about 10 hours working on the design for the passenger seat in this boat, and I got it right. I'm so happy. This is the coolest thing. Open this drawer, and out slides that beautiful drawer with a 45 litre Yeti. That keeps all my bait frozen. And I've even got room in the front here to drop safety gear if I want. All those extra things you have on a boat, particularly when we're filming. Great for a pelican case to slip in there. That slides in, all gone, out of the way, not a problem. Then, this configuration. So I wanted something that people could sit facing back and forward at the same time. And my old boat had a pillar like this with one cushion. I got the boys at Extreme to design this with a pyramid shape so that you can sit this way, it's comfortable, sit this way, it's comfortable. It has been such a game changer. But then you can pull it out nice and easy, and you've got a little flat bench here, so a few people can sit with their back there, or you can lay stuff down. But even better, if you want to have a little nana nap, I got this put on the end, and that extends it so you almost can sleep fully, or you can jam something in there, get up this way, and you can rest like this. It's so cool. You can physically get in here, put a pillow on there, and you can sit back and watch everything that's happening. That has been a game changer because it's just got so many different variables. Put this back in, and you're ready to go fishing again. It even stops stuff from moving back when you're driving along. Stuff's always trying to go down the back. You can put some things in there, locks it away, super smooth. This side of the boat was pretty important because I spent a lot of time there. So beautiful driver's seat, this folds down. I've even put a step at the front here so I can get nice and high and sit on this. I like to sit up high when I'm driving, or I can stand, lean back against it, or it's just really comfortable sitting on the seat. That also pivots, of course. A fridge. How good is this, having a fridge on your boat? Turn it on every day, so good for keeping your pies nice and cold, your drinks nice and cold, and allows all your bait to stay in the esky, so everything is off the deck. That's been an absolute win. Then 2 massive sliding drawers. I keep everything in here, gloves, rigs, leaders, you name it. Second drawer down here, just handy for all the things you want to access really quickly, and again, keeping that nice clean deck. Then this seat, great, you can lean against there, you can lean against there, it'll seat 2 people. I love sitting like this if I'm not driving, so I can watch what's going on. It's just really comfy. But under here, a stack of storage. There's a nice hole there, EPIRB, water bottles, etc. That's about half the depth. Underneath that is my 2 house batteries. Very handy, tucked away, out of the way. On this side, I've got exactly the same setup. That seat just lifts off. And again, plenty of room for storage, everything you need. Underneath, the 2 crank batteries. So house, crank, out of the way, nice and neat. That's the way you want it, and easy to access if you have to. How good is this underfloor kill tank, which I also use for a lot of storage. I think I've had 2 or 3 tuna, about 20 kilos each in this at times, covered in ice. But for me, it makes a great storage space again, because we're filming. If we're going on an extended trip, maybe sleeping overnight, you can stack it full of sleeping bags, all that extra stuff. It's just so good to utilize. The size of it, absolutely awesome. One of the things people don't put enough effort into on boats is grab rails. You need to be able to hang on, because the sea, it can be pretty nasty at times. You'll notice there's grab rails right all the way down the side there. Really handy if you're looking forward, traveling along. This is the best place to stand, by the way, just like this. Up here, all the way along here. I love these through here, because even if you're standing here, if you happen to be a bit shorter though, you do have a grab rail here as well, which is really handy. And then the other one at the front, if you're standing here, you can hold onto that rail if you need to. It just gives you that second point of purchase. They put that one in specially for me. The other thing this rail did, they filled this little gap here, so it gave me a dash where I can throw plenty of stuff. There's even a bit of sea deck up there, and just get rid of those little things that get in the way all the time. Again, more storage, really handy. So I never thought I'd have a roller door in a boat, but it is one of the greatest things ever. This aluminium door rolls up, rolls down, and it's got two purposes that I love. One, if you're going to leave the boat outside somewhere for the night, or even a driveway that doesn't have the best security, you roll this down, lock it, and no one can get in. Put all your expensive stuff in there, not a problem at all. The second thing is, when you're traveling at sea, you've got that full of stuff, boxes, tackle, gear. As you go and bang, 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 how many times everything just keeps falling out, you're putting it back. You close that door, nothing falls out. It is just absolutely incredible. And when you get to where you're going, that rolls up and it gives you incredible access to that beautiful big cabin, which I'll talk about more in a minute. The one thing I changed on this boat, the last door was silver, and I found sometimes when it was here, the sun had hit it and it would blind me, or if it was closed, the sun would reflect. So this time I went black and it is so much better. And this is the cockpit. I absolutely love it. Scan strap for your telephone, so handy for charging, makes it nice and easy, just bang it straight on. All your key, start, stop, etc. for your Suzuki over here. Throttle's nice and handy. And I like the fact with twins, when I'm sitting there, I can actually rest my hand there and just tick them forward that little bit. I don't have to go like this. It's just that nice little touch. It just makes it easy, perfect positioning. Cup holder there, all my buttons through here, do everything I need to do. Radio, gauges for Suzuki, and then HDS 16. Incredible sound. I use this one for sounding. Then I use the HDS 12 over here. That's my mapping. So good having two units. At one stage I had one unit on a boat, and you're always cutting in half. What do you want? They do so much these days. Side scan, mapping, having the best electronics and knowing how to use it. That's probably the most important thing. And I've gone the rants because I've used it for 30 years. I understand it. It is so good. I've sounded fish in 450 meters in this stuff, but I've also sounded beautiful grass beds for squid and whiting in 3 meters. Really versatile. A couple of transducers, does the job very, very well. This boat has a massive cabin with so many awesome features. 4 side pockets. These side pockets are about a foot in depth, which is great. I've got all my safety gear, etc., life jackets, fire extinguishers, easy to access. The Travel Buddy pie oven, and oven in general, is the greatest thing I've ever put in a boat. I eat so many pies, you can probably tell. Having warm food is such a game changer, especially if it's at sea all day for a couple of days. Then over this side, all my gaffs are stored, more safety gear. Underneath the floor here, there's 2 massive storage holes. One there, one there. They take so much gear, it's just crazy, which again, very, very handy. You can store gear, but this is big and flat. Jet and I have slept the night in here plenty of times. It is super comfortable for 2 people. In a pinch, you can slip a third person down the middle, but you probably wouldn't want to. They just sleep on the deck. But this is possibly one of the smartest and coolest things I've ever seen in a boat. Now, I don't know if it's an extreme exclusive, but they do it so well. So this comes out of my side pocket. This just rolls out like this and locks in both sides. Bang, bang. And you've got a really nice shelf there. A child could easily sleep on that. But the best thing I reckon is you stack a heap of gear on there. Then this all clips up. So you clip that onto there, clip these up as you go, and it creates an area where you can store so much gear, which then gets the bed nice and clear. Look at that. All your gear's behind there. It can't physically come out. Then you have the ability, if you want to sleep, you can still get under here and actually sleep the night. So you've still got more room here. For a trailer boat, that is so damn cool. I use it all the time. Everyone who comes to the boat says, coolest thing they've ever seen. About the point end of the boat, the bow. Got the big claw anchor there, and I can actually run over the top of it and slide that down there. They call it a slider, and pull it out if it happens to get snagged. I've done that a few times. Lots of chain. I always run a lot of small chain rather than a short length of thick chain, because chain is what holds the anchor on the bottom. Really important. I've also got a mesh guard on there to make it nice and quiet when I'm fishing for species like whiting, etc. That works really well. Moving back up the boat, you'll notice there's sea deck over every exposed surface. It is just sensational. Blue Sky, they do sea deck, they do heaps of different flooring options for boats, and we chose black for the top of this boat because it just looks so good. And you'll notice even this here, it's got a slight slant coming down to make it look good, but it's still quite sturdy to stand on and fish, or the sides here are a foot wide, so it's actually quite good. You can brace yourself a little, you can still cast squid jigs, poppers, whatever you want. You can easily fish off the front of the boat, no dramas at all, and this sea deck has made a massive difference. The thing with sea deck, it's great underfoot, like even barefoot all day, you don't get sore ankles, sore knees. It's nice and thick, so you get that absorption, and it doesn't absorb water, which is great. Also, doesn't absorb a lot of heat. It also takes the noise out of the hull. If you drop something, doesn't spook fish, and overall gives you better acoustics. You notice sea deck on the roof as well. Looks fantastic. They can embroider your logos into it. Big iFish logos up there. Sea deck through the entire floor, all over the sides. It is a great product, and it's been a game changer. It's so good. This is my little game tower, or a leaning stand, and it folds down flat. 90% of the time I don't use it. But when you get up here on the roof, and there's actually little stairs there to get up on the roof, and it's so sturdy, not a problem, you can stand up here, you can lean back. What I can see here, looking at a spread of tuna lures, marlin lures, is just phenomenal. That extra height is mind-blowing. Also gets an extra person off the deck. We also put a padded roll on there, so you can lean against it, no problems all day, lean against that, hang on. Even in a rough sea, it's really stable up here. Or, from this perspective, when I'm whiting fishing or squid fishing, the sand holes I can see, there's one over there. I've got this beautiful little picture of everything happening around me, and I've got this little thing I do with people on board. If I go, it's time to drop the anchor, I'll go left, right, out the window, and we get on those sand holes so well. And then when we're at anchor, I'll get up again, I'll look, and I think, oh, cast over that way, or even put a bridle on to pull the boat around to where you want to be. Having this height has been so cool. I did it on the last boat, done it on this boat, and I'll try and do it on every boat moving forward. My name's Paul Worsey, and I've got a little bit of an addiction. I collect fishing rods. I can't have enough fishing rods and combos, and I can't leave at home, they get lonely, so I want to take them out fishing. And that is why, when I told the guys at Extreme I wanted 18 rod holders, they actually said, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Mate, when we're filming, we have 6 snapper rods, 2 whiting rods, 2 squid rods. It's just so good to get rods out of the way." And there's been plenty of days when I've filled every single rod on this rocket launcher, and then I've had a few in the cabin as well. So if you get the opportunity, put some extra rod holders in. If you don't use them, that's fine, but I always say, better be looking at them than for them. These Kilwell Fibre Lab outriggers from New Zealand have been a massive addition to this boat. They're 6.1 metres long, 2-piece, 12K carbon fibre. When you hold them in your hand straight up, they are so light, and that light frame makes such a big difference because they're hanging out of the side of the boat. Obviously you want outriggers to get a good spread. The longer they are, the bigger the spread. And these 316 stainless steel slimline bases from Kilwell, so easy to use. All you do, unscrew that, that flips open. You can do it from the boat nice and easy. She folds out. Look at that for an easy fold, and you are ready to fish. Is in place. Sits there beautifully. Obviously this comes back to my attachment point down here. You always want to keep your outriggers well sprung. Look at that spread. It is just unbelievable. Such a cool piece of gear. A few specs on the Game King. It is 7.93 metres in length, but it feels about 10 metres. The most incredible part about this boat, I reckon, is the beam. It's 2.8 metres wide. I reckon that's about half a metre wider than the standard trailer boat. And I'll just show you how wide it is. Normally, 2 people fishing in the back of the boat, you're pretty much covered. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4 people easily across the back of this boat. Everyone who gets on it goes, wow, it's so big, it feels like a charter boat. It's seriously amazing. The side and deck thickness, 4mm aluminium. The hull, I got an upgrade, I highly recommend it, 8mm aluminium. There is no replacement for displacement. That extra weight just makes the ride so beautiful and smooth. Again, I've said it before, never the perfect boat, but you've got to do everything you can to try and make yours as perfect as possible. It's got a 21-degree dead rise, which basically gives you a really nice entry, but also gives you pretty good stability at rest because of this wide beam. On the trailer, the overall height of the boat is around 3.5 metres, so make sure it's going to fit in your shed or just build a new one because you want to get this boat undercover. It takes 8 people comfortably, and I also love the fact that it's got a 400 litre tank. 2 advantages there. One, if I'm travelling around 3,400 revs, I can actually go at a pretty quick pace and I can cover 400 kilometres at sea on 1 tank of fuel. The other advantage, fill it up once. When I'm doing my smaller trips like snapper or whiting, I can get about 8 to 10 trips out of it depending on the trip, so I'm not taking it to the servo all the time, and that is such a game changer because it saves so much time. You'll notice I've got my little pad down here. We've got our bait well, washdown, which is this one here, lights, cockpit lights, etc. I've got one of them there. I've got one on the side of the boat, one at the front as well, so no matter where you are, you've always got access to a button that's going to do the job for you. In relation to lights, some good floodlights up the top there on the deck give me plenty of light, and also lights throughout, because at night, light is just so important. So I made sure I got the best lighting I physically could, and it makes such a difference, even though you probably only use it about 2% of the time you're on the boat. Even though this is quite a big boat, it doesn't draw a lot of water. When I talk about drawing water, it's how much of the hull is below the waterline when you're going along. In 1,500 metres of water, she's at home on the shelf. But even in 30 centimetres of water, as you can see by this footage, she still purrs along, and you can get this big, big boat into some very tight spaces. Well, I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the Extreme 795 Game King. It might sound corny, but that's a wrap. She's ready to go for next time. Hope you enjoyed it.